Fury, Fury, Fury.
We're here discussing what drugs Ben and Chantel should do for the Neil Young concert.
Great.
And the multiple choice.
This is a good point to mention. If there's anything you say that then you realize you don't want to have.
Oh no, this is totally fine.
Perfect.
Yeah, all my friends know that I don't drink, but I'm California sober.
Yeah,
you know.
Right.
But also, even if you just say something that you're like, oh, that came across very like foolishly.
Okay.
Or anything you regret. Just let Ben know and he'll snip it out.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. I was telling Andrew that. I was like, what if I say something stupid? I'm like, well, everything I say is probably going to be stupid.
We'll strike it from the record.
Yeah,
okay,
no problem.
Perfect.
We'll trash the episode. We don't need to,
no.
We don't need to release an episode every week.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, the multiple choice options were...
Yeah, weed, but 70s style, seeds and stems only.
Okay.
The stuff that, your boomer parents were like, it's a lot less strong in our day. Yeah.
Perfect for on the beach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I love on the beach. I've been looking at the set list, right? They're great.
It's so good.
Sometimes he'll play Vampire Blues, but that's the only on the beach song, which is fair. But yeah, it's looking really good.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually going to the second show as well. That's in a month.
Yeah.
My partner's huge Neil fan, so we had to do double dip. So
that's great. No, and Zach, who was on for the Beyond Thunderdome episode, is also going, but he realized it today that he's going to the second show.
Oh, the other show. Okay.
But I was thinking about it, but I don't know. I couldn't. I didn't do it in time.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like it was.
I couldn't get a lawn ticket for this show, so I got a seated ticket.
Yeah.
It was expensive. It's like $200.
We did seats because like old and backs, I don't know. I'm kind of over the lawns, depending what it is. Like I actually was going to get lawns for Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, you don't need to be within spitting distance of Fred Durst.
No.
Yeah?
But unfortunately I couldn't get it because the Ticketmaster site crashed. So
damn, too many chocolate starfish in the hot dog flavored water fans.
Well, that's awesome that you're following through on it, because I remember seeing you at like a Christmas party and your partner Andrew was talking about how he was like getting really into Limp Bizkit.
No, not really into. I think it was like one of those bands that he listened to before. I don't know. Maybe strike that from the record. No, I'm kidding.
Well, they're having a total reappraisal moment right now.
Chocolate starfish.
Yeah, I don't know. I like going to concerts. I don't know. Even like if I'm not like a huge fan of them, I think it's just fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I actually this is actually the only time I've ever really had a hot take on the show. Everything else has just been lukewarm. And also, I know Jordan's listening. I'm sorry. I've probably expressed this to him before. But I actually don't like going to concerts.
Really?
Because I don't like standing up. I love to sit down and I love to be very comfortable. And I don't like loud noises.
Okay.
No. I just I don't know. I find I always feel kind of uncomfortable. Like it's just a weird situation in a way that I don't in a movie theater, even if it's like packed in the movie theater. I don't know.
Honestly, I've been going to more shows recently that have been seated, but I think that's just like maybe like the older millennial like concerts coming back. I don't know, but I'm pretty happy when there's a seat. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. My younger self is probably like cringing saying that because I used to be like the first person in line at the front of the stage kind of thing, but now I'm like, I'll sit down.
No.
It's nice to have the option.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, speaking of options, so we need stems and seeds on it.
B.
Okay, Aleve. Aleve is the brand name for sodium naproxen, which I'm not a doctor, but I think it relieves joint and muscle pain
and migraines.
I
have them for my migraines.
There you go. Yep. Poppers. Right?
Classic
Which is not
choice.
just for gay sex. It's for whatever. It's for all sorts of stuff.
I don't know if that's a Neil vibe though.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's more of a Limp Bizkit vibe.
Yeah. That is more of a Limp Bizkit vibe.
You look down, it's like this guy's been sitting throughout the entire Neil Young show with his head buried in his hands, doing deep inhales.
Yeah.
Of this like shoe polish remover smelling substance, Yeah. Anyway, I did them once. Great. Really good.
Interesting.
Yeah, would love to do them again. You can get them all over. Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
they're like legal.
Sort of. It's like a gray area.
Yeah.
But you can't, if you sniff it too much, you'll go blind.
Oh.
So, it's a
Don't do
trade-off.
that.
Yeah, everything's a trade-off. And then finally, ZZZ Quill, Sleep Quill, aka diphenhydramine hydrochloride, which is also Benadryl. If you take a little bit of it, it relieves your allergies and it makes you sleepy, which is nice. If you try to stay awake. But if you take too much, it's deliriant, and it will make you see like spiders on the wall and stuff like that. So it's all about finding a balance,
Yeah.
My vote is for the poppers. I think you guys should just inhale a lot of poppers at the Neil Young show.
All right. Well, I will. I'll go to the 7-Eleven across the street. They probably got them under the counter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Stock up. We're joined today by our guest Chantel, who has been a long-time listener, first-time guest.
Yeah.
You entered a contest and you won.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
As the only listener, and I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, pretty close.
No.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
there's at least 20 of you.
Well, I'm very happy to be number 19.
It was like a Make-A-Wish scenario.
Exactly. I'm dying.
Yeah. I'm really sorry to hear that.
This is how you tell your friends and family
Yes.
that you have.
Dad, I know I just had a phone call with you to talk about the Jays game we're going to in a couple weeks, but I you know what? I'm not going to make it.
Yeah. He's also a big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's okay because part of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, I just hit the microphone into my chin.
It didn't pick up.
Oh, okay, great. Part of the Make-A-Wish Foundation was not only to bring you on to the show, but also to try to extend your life by donating a human blood bag for you, and that will be
Perfect.
Alex. Yeah.
Universal
Awesome.
donor.
Yeah.
That high octane shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Strap me to the Lancers
Love it.
post.
Yeah, so I don't know, like I'm not sure how you get around the city, but if you have like a bike, you could put him in the front of the bike.
In a basket.
The basket.
With that like Tom Hardy muzzle on my face.
You gotta put a muzzle on him, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put a muzzle on Alex just day to day.
I'm a biter.
Yeah.
That's why I'm sitting kind of not so close to you right now.
Yeah, that's
for
why
the
I said
best.
this is my chair.
Yeah.
It's
That is
be far
Ben's
away
chair,
from Alex.
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah. So we're recording not too long after we recorded
Dude.
Beyond Thunderdome. We've been recording podcasts a lot lately.
It's been a long weekend and it's been nothing but podcast records.
I know.
But it's been great. I couldn't think of any better way to spend a long weekend.
Yeah, me. Yeah, me neither. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I got up and immediately had to watch Fury Road, and then immediately had to hop in the shower and come over here. And
That's a good day.
and on my day off, and I was like, what, this is way better than like doing what I would want to do, like with my life, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm seeing Neil Young later, right? So it's
Hell
not
yeah.
that bad.
Life is
Yeah.
good.
Life is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and happy Victoria Day.
Oh, yeah.
To everyone present and everyone listening, to the dearly departed Queen and the dearly departed Queen Mother.
Did you
Victoria
see
herself.
that portrait they did of Prince
Oh my God, it's
King
so
Charles?
good.
Yeah, the one that looks like Francis Bacon, like.
Yeah,
like,
it looks like
horrific.
It looks like a King Crimson album cover.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's crazy.
I love it so much. And I like how they added the little butterfly to be like, see?
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
little bit of nature in there.
It's kind of cool. Like, have they mandated that? Like now, royal portraits or presidential portraits can be like kind of funky.
Yeah, I think in the past couple of years, same with presidential portraits,
Yeah.
right, and so on.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know. Like, I don't think Prince Charles, like
King Charles.
Oh yeah, right.
For now.
not in this house. In this house, he's still a prince. Yeah, the soon-to-be dearly departed King Charles. I don't know if I necessarily trust his his artistic sensibilities,
No.
But I do think it's funny, like assuming he maybe like didn't have an idea of what it looked like when you pull down the curtain and you see it, you're like, oh yes, oh very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the portrait of Dorian Gray.
Yeah.
But like after
halfway through.
corrupt. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did get quite scared though when he unveiled it. Did you see that video?
No.
Yeah, I guess he did kind of look
He,
a little
like,
bit like
went like that.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
But how
Even
could you
though
not?
He saw it for 3 sessions.
Yeah.
But
I got a good movie pitch actually.
Oh.
For and partial credit to Jesse on this one, but a picture of Dorian Gray like remake. Never been more relevant.
Yeah.
But it's like a back tattoo, like it's
Yeah.
a back piece, right?
That's it, and it's starring Steve-O.
Yeah.
And it's,
and it's
Steve-O's own
yeah.
portrait on his back.
Yeah, but it's the opposite. It's like the more sober and like friendly and kind he gets,
Yeah.
the worse. Because Steve-O's true self is to be like a drugged up menace.
Yes, exactly.
I take that back. Steve, if you're listening, by the way,
Oh.
which I think he might be.
Come on the pod.
Come on the pod, number one. Number two, I really respect your sobriety.
Yeah.
Even if I don't.
Even if Bill Maher doesn't.
Even if the worst Dorian Gray in the world, Bill Maher does it. Yeah. God, his paintings got to look awful, right? We all have our own personal Dorian Gray paintings hidden in the closet somewhere.
Yeah.
But his has got to be just
gruesome.
Yeah.
Gruesome, just malformed Bill Maher portrait.
Ugh, God. No, I can't imagine. Yeah. Anyway.
Chantel, this being your first time on the pod and us being like 80 episodes in.
Yep.
You watch anything recently? You've got a lot of, you got 80 weeks of movies to catch us up on.
If you could think from October of 2022.
Okay.
That's stupid. It's stupid that we've been doing it this long. And the line only goes up.
It took me this long to get on too. I'm actually offended.
Yeah, I mean, you should take it personally, but it's Alex's fault.
It is.
I just met you, so
yeah, that's true.
It's not my fault.
It is my fault, and but it's also our programming's fault because all of our franchises so far have been terrible.
I did want to come on for Scream, but that didn't happen.
We haven't done Scream yet.
Wait.
Scream.
We haven't done Scream yet.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
wait,
Yeah.
what was the other? Why did I think you guys did Scream? I don't know. Anyways, I don't know if I want to do Scream anymore because it's canceled.
Scream's canceled?
Yeah.
Because they fired Melissa Barrera, right? Is that her name? I don't remember what her name is.
I've
I'm
not
very
heard
bad
of
with
this.
names, honestly.
They fired one of the main Scream characters who's followed over in the more recent ones because of her outspoken pro-Palestinian.
Oh,
views.
really?
Yeah. And so now Scream is canceled. Yeah. But it should have been canceled before anyway because they're
But
bad.
then Nev came back for it, so she wasn't actually supposed to be in the next one. But she was like, I'll take that bag. So she's going to be in it. So people have now canceled Nev because they're like, oh, so you're going to go on a set that is trying to silence people?
Yeah, she's like a political... She's like a scab.
Yeah.
Boo!
Is Jenna Ortega still along for the ride?
So she's not either. But I think her PR team did a better spin on it because they made it look like she left, but it was also essentially with the pro-Palestine stuff.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow, I didn't know all this juicy Scream
Yeah.
gossip was going on.
Yeah, you got to see plugged into the culture.
You got it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a Scream. I don't think I've seen any Scream movies outside of 3. I mean, 1, 2, and 3. First 3, yeah.
All right. Well, Chantel, you have a
Yeah.
lifetime. But if you want to recommend two or
Two?
three
Okay. I am
or
very.
more. Sometimes I recommend 10. If that's a problem.
I got a lot going on, kind of. I don't know. So I'll talk about 2, I guess. So I really like found footage horror movies a lot.
Nice.
Just I don't know, just the bad, the good. I don't even care what it is, but I'll watch it.
Sure.
I really liked Horror in the High Desert.
Oh, I never heard of that.
That's a good one.
Okay.
There's
Horror in
a
the
2
High Desert.
and a 3 now as well too. I haven't seen the 3rd, but the second one was also really good.
And they're all found footage?
Yeah,
or?
they're all found footage.
Oh.
The first one's actually kind of it's interesting. So it follows the story, and it's kind of like a documentary style where they're interviewing people and about this thing that happened in the high desert, and you're following the story of somebody who I guess went missing, but they add in this thing that he really liked trains. So there's just photos of him with a bunch of trains, and it's just very kind of cute and heartwarming, but then it gets more fucked up as it goes along. Not gonna give anything away, but it's a good one. I recently rewatched 7 because I have looks like you do too, Alex, an addiction to physical media.
Yep.
I'm not a hoarder. I just really like things.
That's what I used to say.
Yeah.
When people called me a hoarder. I said I just like things.
Yeah.
So just be careful.
I have a lot of collections.
Yeah. It could get. Yeah. Sorry. Let me take my bite of my donut.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. And I picked up 7 at Valley Village recently. I was like, oh yeah, I'll have some friends over. I had Will and Dawn over actually, and we all watched 7. And about 20 minutes into the movie, or no, 20 minutes left of the movie, the DVD crapped out, and we couldn't clean it or anything. So we ended up finding like a very legit website that is not legal. I mean, that isn't that. Other way, it's legal. It's very legal.
You must be thinking of legalmoviedownloads.org.
Yes, exactly, that
That's
one.
What we get all
We plug them a lot. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was a different one, but it was like, just a streaming site. We watched the rest on there, but the quality was so much better on the illegal site, and it actually made me so upset.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I'm a big physical media fan, and it's ruined my life, and it's definitely not okay, and I have a serious problem. I'm even thinking about it right now. I'm thinking like BMV is just around the corner. I've been there like twice already this week. But that's a serious thing. That sometimes not only will the disc fail, but especially like older DVDs, they can't be trusted to be like the best presentation.
Yeah.
Even though you would assume, okay, because it's from the official studio and it's like the official release and whatever the director supervised it, if you're lucky or whatever. Even some of the original Criterion releases, like, the quality of and also the the TVs that we watch them on too are like, if you watch an old DVD on like an old CRT TV that's meant to be, even if it's cropped and it's widescreen and everything, it might even look better than if you watched it on like a 4K TV or something. But I still love DVDs and Blu-rays and so on, but sometimes like it's not the way,
Yeah.
And you have to admit that to yourself as a collector, like, you should always have that digital backup just in case.
In case. I know it's so important.
Yeah.
Well, I got my mom a Criterion Blu-ray of The Trial, the Franz Kafka adaptation by Orson Welles, because she loves that movie. And I never seen it, so I watched it with her, and the Criterion 4K disc just crapped out like halfway through the movie.
What?
And I couldn't believe it, but like it's in this new, in their new 4K editions, they have the 4K disc and then just like a Blu-ray disc. So luckily the Blu-ray disc worked, but I couldn't believe it. I was so heartbroken and distraught.
Yeah. And was it like a new 4K player? Was it like the PS5?
It was my PS5, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You could write Criterion.
Yeah.
Like some sort of bomb threat.
Yeah.
And say it's in your closet. It's in the fabled Criterion closet, and all of that overstock will be exploded.
Yeah.
Until you send me a new copy of The Trial, and they will send you a copy of it.
I think that might work.
So many classics gone out of print in the explosion.
Yeah.
And the ensuing blast.
I like that your mom likes The Trial. Because that's such a like a Romanian mom movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She says she had to like read it in school in like communist Romania, which is just kind of like ironic.
Forced literature, yeah.
That's wild.
They made her read it.
But it's like presented as like, a happy story. Like,
this is
good.
Yeah, yes, man got what he deserved. Yeah, he was running amok.
Do not fight system.
Yeah. I mean, the system deals with him, I think, actually pretty efficiently. Anyway, yeah. Okay, 7 is good though, right?
Do you like it?
Oh yeah.
It holds up. I saw a funny dumb meme.
The kitten one?
You. Oh, maybe. Wait. What was the kitten one?
I don't know. There's like a meme that my friend showed me of like him looking in the box where like spoiler, there's his wife's head, but instead there's kittens.
Oh yeah. What's in the box?
Yeah.
No, this one was somebody like went and like edited the lyrics to Closer, an instrumental
Classic.
version of which opens the famous like opening credits.
The 9 Inch Nails song, Closer?
Yeah.
It goes, I want to pet your animal. I want to feel it on the outside. I want to pet your animal. its whole existence is pod. Please let me closer to dog.
Yeah.
I didn't make that up. That's just something I read online.
Where did this come from? This memeing of Seven using pets?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it's just maybe because it's like it's such a dark, twisted movie that it's funny.
Right.
That there would be something fluffy in it.
Yeah. I mean, the internet's a pretty beautiful place like that.
Yeah. That Seven really is like actually pretty intense, isn't it? Yeah.
When I told somebody I was having people over to watch it, they were like, "That movie?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like, I feel like it's pretty tame to some of the stuff I watch.
It is. It's tame, yeah. But I just think about like 1990 whatever 7 if it was or whenever it was, like mid to late 90s, like there's some stuff in it.
Yeah.
Anything? Any other ones, or those are the main ones?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I mostly watch horror movies, I would say. So that's kind of just, I'm usually watching something. I watch movies with a couple pals. We have like a cast night, and so like almost every week we'll watch like a movie together and stuff. So either that or we'll watch trash TV. So like MILF Manor, stuff like that. Yeah.
I still have never seen MILF Manor.
Oh my God, it's so fucked up.
MILF Manor.
I love it so much, though. It's like a car crash. You like literally can't look away, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening right now? How is this on TV?
What's it on?
I think TLC. But
okay.
we just you know.
Legal movie downloads. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have a donut in my mouth.
You sure do.
TLC, you know what TLC stands for, right?
The Learning Channel.
The Learning Channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, learning about MILFs.
Yeah.
Polygamy.
Learn about MILFs eventually.
Learning about MILFs. How's the donut?
I feel like a MILF.
Oh, man.
What about you, Alec?
What have I watched recently?
Yeah.
Since the last time I saw you? Like 1.5
yesterday?
days ago? Yeah.
Yeah, how many movies did you get in?
One. Except besides Fury Road. My friend, speaking of horror, he recently just signed up for the free month trial to Shudder.
Love.
Yeah, so it was kind of a cool app. I was like, oh, there's a bunch of stuff on here I wouldn't mind watching.
Well, you've never used Shudder before?
Never used Shudder.
Oh, it's like my favorite app.
Okay, noted.
Yeah.
But we watched Maniac.
Oh,
great. Yeah.
1980 William Lustig film starring
Joe
Spinell.
Yeah, a legendary performance.
His face and his body, his face is incredible. Like he is one of the hitmen in the Godfather movies, I think, and he's in Taxi Driver, and he just has like it's almost like if Frank Cazale was given the serum that turned the guy into Bane.
Cazale?
John Cazale. Sorry, what did I say? Frank. I don't know why I said Frank.
It's a strong Italian American name.
Yeah, Frank, because John Cazale. If he was given like the serum that turns Bane into Bane and like Batman and Robin, the scrawny guy becomes like.
I guess so. Yeah.
Because he just looks like wider and just kind of more menacing.
Pockmarked.
Yeah, and he's got like a real like mini fridge body. He looks so like.
Sure. Yeah, no, sure.
He's
you could open him up and there'd be some cold colas inside.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's just a insane screen presence, like and I wasn't crazy about the movie really. I think it's pretty slight in a lot of ways, but there are like a few great moments where Joe Spinell is doing, the maniac thing and being unhinged and killing these people, and you see close-ups of his deranged face and then the ending is like kind of cool because it's more like psychological in his head, and that was like a creepy little sequence where he collects mannequins and like the mannequins may or may not like animate and come to life a bit, but it was overall like I appreciated watching like a classic like 80s video nasty. It's not like I don't think it's like a great movie, and
you're wrong though, it is good.
Yeah
you're wrong.
Convince me.
No. I can't. It's you can't convince someone who saw it and was like wasn't for me, because it's a like a movie that's like that extreme. You either like it or you don't, right?
I guess I would have been down if it was a bit more extreme. Like, it's got some good gore effects from Tom Savini, who also acts in the movie, who also
gets his head blown off. That's the craziest
point
part
blank.
Of the movie.
Yeah, and it was so funny because Tom Savini worked on the effects for Tom Savini's head to explode. You know, like, it was just everything came full circle. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a fun watch, but you know, it's not like one of my favorite horror films of all time anymore right now, and I'm probably not going to like watch it again.
Okay. Wait, so had you seen it before?
No, I never seen it before.
Okay. Oh, you said anymore.
I know. I'm out of sorts right now. So
see, Maniac actually really got to you.
Yeah, no,
You can see the remake
fucked
now
up
with Elijah Wood.
Oh, there's a remake with Elijah Wood.
Yeah, the gimmick is that it's in a lot of it is in his point of view.
Same with the original. It's mostly about Joe Spinell.
Yeah, that's right. I guess a lot of it isn't. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time.
There's another horror movie actually coming out kind of soon where it is in the POV of it's like a slasher film, but it's in the POV of like the killer.
Oh, is it the In a Violent Nature one?
I think so.
Yeah, because that's the one that Peter Kaplowski produced, I think. Yeah.
And a couple people I went to university with are in it.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Really? That's so sick.
Yeah.
Wait, who do we?
Reese. Did you ever meet Reese from Queen's Theater? Kind of like a big, bulky dude.
Reese.
Like jacked.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's in it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think that could be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's it. I only watched Maniac.
Slacking.
Yeah, okay. Lay it on us, Ben.
Day. No.
I have 15.
Yeah. No, I watched 2 movies. And then sort of another one. You know, I've been doing those Mike Lee movies, right? At work. So I finished another one called Grown Ups, which was also very funny. They're all like really good.
With Adam
the ones I've
Sandler.
seen so far. Eh?
With Adam Sandler.
Yeah, with Adam Sandler. Yeah. But after recording the other day, I watched the remake of The Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage. Because, believe it or not, I actually had never seen it. Yeah. Right? That's crazy, right? It had been on my list for like, one of these days I'll just watch it because it'll be really funny. Yeah. And I like kind of, had a very strange kind of like Neil LaBute phase very briefly. Like, and that makes it sound like I liked it more than, Yeah. But I like read some of his plays and like watched In the Company of Men and like some of that stuff. Like in high school when studying like drama and whatever, right? And the idea, I remember like when the Wicker Man came out and they're like, okay, so the concept is for the American like version of the Wicker Man, like it's not some like pagan like island. It is, but like the gimmick is like it's run by women. It's like a matriarchy, and like how fucked would that be? And like so much of Neil LaBute's thing is like men are like this and women are like this, and like let's explore the differences like in a very provocative way. And in this movie, it's like really stupid. Like it's on another level. And I watched the theatrical version. Where it doesn't have the bees torture in it, and it's a huge shame because the ending of the theatrical. The ending of the movie is they put him in the Wicker Man, he burns, and then they cut. They're like 6 months later, and it's like all of a sudden James Franco and the other guy, Jason Ritter, are like 2 dudes in a bar hitting on these 2 girls, and it reveals like it's 2 girls from the island, like the cycle continues, and it's like. It's such a terrible ending. The original ending, which I went back and watched, is like the best part of the movie. They break his legs and they put the bee thing on him, and I thought it was like really effective, even though his performance is like, like Nick Cage like going big, right? It's actually kind of scary when he's. I think I'm not just saying like. I'm not just saying like, the thing that is really bad and has been memed a lot is actually good or whatever. I'm just saying like, there's some power to it. Like when he's getting, after he gets like horribly tortured and they drag him to the Wicker Man, when they pull this like sheet off of him, and he sees the Wicker Man, and he realizes what's going to happen. Because that's the best part of the original movie, right? When he's like, the policeman's like, oh God, Jesus
no.
Christ. Yeah. Nicolas Cage does a pretty good kind of version of that, where he's like, oh my God, you know. And I was like, yeah, like, actually, can I read?
Please.
Can I read? Do a reading of his. I can't believe they cut this out, and I had to wait for the DVD. But this is his line. His lines during the torture scene. Bitches, you bitches, this is murder! Murder! You'll all be guilty, and you're doing it for nothing. Killing me won't bring back your goddamn honey. Oh, I don't get it. I'm not one of you. I don't believe in your God. I don't believe in sacrifice. Oh no, don't move me. This one they're breaking his legs.
What is that?
Then they're bringing.
What is that?
What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? Oh no, not the bees! Not the bees! I can't do it. Oh, they're in my eyes! My eyes! Okay, when he says "oh, they're in my eyes," and the second time he says "my eyes," that's the hardest I've laughed in a movie for a long time, because the bees look really bad too. Like they're very, like digital. Oh God, oh my God, oh my God. Okay, then that's the line. Yeah, thank you.
It's a gratuitous scene.
I've only ever seen that version. I didn't know there was another version.
Same.
The original version, they cut from the crowd closing in on him to him being carried away, and he has the bee marks and his legs are broken, but you don't know. You just hear the line in voiceover. Yeah. Killing me won't bring back your goddamn honey. And then, but in the fake version, or sorry, in the real version, which is the fake version, when he says "killing me won't bring back your goddamn honey," they do this weird smash cut to like Ellen Burstyn, who's in this goofy makeup, who's the Lady Summer Isle or whatever, and like zooms in there and she says, "Oh, but I believe it will." You know? I loved it.
That's so good.
Anyway, great movie.
It honestly is, and I also really I think it's a great comedy, and there's also that one part where he just like punches that woman so hard.
Yeah,
dressed as a bear.
Oh my God, that's art.
There are a few times where he does misogyny, and it's great. You know, stand up and cheer moments where he kicks Lily Sobieski very hard, and she flies across the room and hits a bunch of pictures on the wall, and they all fall down. Yeah,
it's a ridiculous movie.
Kicked her out of the movie industry. She hasn't been doing much since.
I know. Yeah, what's that about?
Oh, that's actually sad.
Yeah, I don't think he was related. I
think it was.
Maybe. Yeah. I love the original Wicker Man.
Yeah.
And the remake is such a great, like, lost in translation, like, remake of just losing sight of what made the original, like, good.
Yeah.
And they are, like, it is almost kind of like necessary viewing. You know, if you like one or the other, it's fun to watch, like, the absolute double-sidedness of the two.
Yeah.
But if I put on the Wicker Man remake and it didn't have the extended torture scene, I'd be pretty upset.
I knew what I was doing. I did it on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to see, like, what would have people seen in the movie theater, and it's bad. Yeah. It's like why watch it without that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I chose another movie, and I wanted to watch something a little bit more serious, but I kind of realized I've accidentally done like a father's rights, like men's rights double feature.
Oh no!
Because I watched Kramer versus Kramer.
Oh.
You know, the 1979 like Best Picture winner, with Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep, about them getting a divorce. And a big part of it is like Dustin Hoffman is like fighting for his child custody rights, and seemingly in a universe where joint custody like is not an option, because it's such an intense like court battle. And anyway, I think it's a really bad movie. Not just like that the politics of the movie have aged poorly or whatever. Because it isn't. Because I think after Meryl Streep got cast, she was lobbied Hoffman and the director to change the character, because the character on the page is like very cold and very like unsympathetic, right? And all the best parts of the movie are Meryl's like monologues and stuff in the courtroom scenes. But Dustin Hoffman is doing his method acting stuff, right? And they both won Oscars for it. And you can tell because it's very like, it's the epitome of like an Oscar winning performance, right?
Yeah.
But his method acting is like, he's like a crazy guy. I kind of don't like Dustin Hoffman. I think out of all those like 70s 80s Hollywood leading men, because I find his like method acting to be really obnoxious. Like part of that obviously is metatextual, that you know that going in. And in this case, I had already read about this movie, so maybe I'm like taking apart his performance a little bit, because I know that he's like a psycho, and like on set he would like throw glasses at people, and he would like belittle Meryl Streep, and like speaking of John Cazale, who'd recently died, right? They were like married or at least together, right? He would to get emotion out of her in the scenes, he would taunt her about the death of John Cazale.
Jesus.
Yeah, just like all this psycho stuff. He hit her on one of her first days. He slapped her in the face, and no one, without telling anybody or whatever, just because he's like, it has to be real. It has to be real.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think there's a lot of, I'm a professional actor now, right? So,
Yes.
so I think there's some merit to method acting, just as there is for any other style or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like, it's not an excuse to be a psychotic like piece of shit, right?
No.
And I think a lot of people take it that way, and I think it's a bad performance. Honestly, it's very it's lots of tics and manners and stuff. It just kind of made me angry, and I was like, I was like, I wish I was watching Nick Cage in The Wicker Man. But because I couldn't stop thinking about it, right? So then every scene that he's in, I'm just thinking like, how did he torture the other people in the scene to get the performance he thought was like better than what they could actually do naturally?
Yeah.
And the kid in it who got an Oscar nomination, who was like the youngest guy to ever get an Oscar nomination, and when he lost, he cried like a little baby. So fucking funny, loser. There's a scene. There's a couple of scenes where I'm like, oh, Dustin Hoffman for sure went up to the kid and was like,
did he slap him?
I don't think he actually hit the kid, but I think there's a scene where the kid falls off like a jungle gym and like hits his head, and he had to cry, right? And Dustin Hoffman was like, because all the crew was friends with the kid, try to create a nice atmosphere, and he went up to him after, before they shot the scene. He was like, after the movie ends, like, you're not going to see any of these people again, like all your friends, like, he'd be like Jimmy the camera guy, and like, Johnny the grip, like,
none of them actually like you.
Yeah, it's just for the movie. The kid starts crying. There's a scene where right after that, where the kid is getting stitches in the doctor's office, and Dustin Hoffman is holding his head, and the camera's on one side, and he's talking the kid through it, like it's gonna be okay, and the kid is like very realistically like in pain from the stitches, and I'm thinking on the other side that the camera can't see, is Dustin Hoffman like pinching the kid's cheek?
Yeah,
or something?
maybe.
I swear to God, he is like, this man is a terrorist. He's a terrorist.
Out of frame, he's just kind of like pinching him or something like that.
He drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But this is the other part, and then I'll stop. Right before this, he does Straight Time, which is like one of his best movies, and he's really good in it. Then he does Kramer versus Kramer and Tootsie, like back to back, which I think are terrible. I think they're bad movies, and I swear it's not just me, like retroactively applying like contemporary politics to them or anything like that. Like that Tootsie is like whatever, gender essentialist or whatever, which it is, right? But I genuinely think they're bad movies. And they're bad performances. But then he's in Ishtar, which is a movie people think is bad, but it's actually good, and he's very good in it. And then he's in Rain Man, which is a movie I think people think is good, but it's actually bad, and he's very bad in it. Yeah, and that's my Dustin Hoffman rant.
I'm realizing I haven't seen a lot of his movies, and I'm kind of happy.
You're not missing much. Yeah. Like the Graduate's good.
Okay, well, yeah.
Marathon Man
Straight
too.
Time is really good.
I like Marathon Man. Mm-hmm. Him versus Laurence Olivier.
Well, then that's the method acting one, right? Where he's like, "Have you tried acting, my dear boy?"
Right, classic story.
Classic.
Yeah, I'm sick of these method acting guys. Dustin Hoffman, Jared Leto. They can all just go fuck themselves.
That's what I'm saying.
I haven't watched Kramer versus Kramer in a really long time, but I've heard people talk about how it's aged kind of weirdly and not great.
I don't even think that. Well, aside from the fact that it's like no one says the phrase joint custody, like it just doesn't exist, because that would solve literally all the problems, right? I just think it's like such an actor's picture, like an actor's showcase, that it feels like I just like can't like buy his performance in it, because it feels too like mannered or whatever. But Meryl Streep, I think, is really good in it. You know, I don't know. The kid is good in it, right? As far as kids go.
Little
crybaby, yeah. Oh, I didn't win the Oscar. Oh no. Oh, wah.
Oh, poor kid though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Getting like hoisted up and just to get brought down.
Yeah. They shouldn't have nominated him.
Where is he now?
He's dead.
Oh, okay.
No. He's no. All of them are still alive. Yeah, even Dustin Hoffman. I don't know where he is. He was in some stuff, but I don't think he acts anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he wasn't like any famous child actor or something.
Justin Henry. He's not in. He's in some other stuff, but this is his big movie, I think. Yeah. Kramer versus Alien versus Predator.
The performance. His performance in Kramer versus Kramer landed him the number 80 spot on VH1's list of the 100 greatest kid stars.
Wow.
So number 80 out of 100, eh?
Yeah.
Not very impressive.
He also cried when he heard that. Anyway, how's about a movie we've all seen?
Yeah.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Now, Chantel,
yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you've actually been playing along with this series.
I have been, yeah.
And has it, like, what was your, like, history with Mad Max in general before this?
Yeah, so I watched it in a really weird, like, I guess, way, I don't know, order. Sorry, that's the word. I remember I started off with Thunderdome.
Oh,
really?
When I was, like, younger, just because I don't know why the cage thing was really cool. I watched wrestling,
cool.
Cage matches. I don't know. That was a thing.
We didn't even talk about the wrestling aspect of it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Shit.
Anyways.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Good,
there's that. So I really liked that. And then I went to Fury Road.
Okay.
Up until recently, that was like the only movie I saw twice in theaters.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I fell in love with it. It's so weird too, because like it's not my normal like genre that I really like, but yeah. I fucking love this movie. And then I got bamboozled by you guys actually listening to the first one, because I was clearly zoned out listening to the podcast, and I had not watched the first Mad Max yet. And you guys said something about a documentary, and I was like, whoa, this started as a documentary. And then I'm watching it, and then the scene with the people like having sex, I was like, this is not a documentary. But yeah, it was,
gotcha.
Yeah.
I got
We bamboozle, led astray, and hoodwink people.
Yeah. We're bad for hoodwinking.
You know what? I still enjoyed it. I'm glad I watched it. Then I watched the second one.
What'd you think?
I like the second one a lot.
Yeah.
Because it kind of like builds up more on the story, and then it just, I don't know. It felt like a lot. I don't know. I just really like that one. But yeah, Fury Road is so fucking sick.
Yeah.
Before we even get into it, I really like this movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, me too. It really is cool. I guess, like, I don't know why I didn't see it twice in theaters. I should have, but I remember seeing it when it came out at like in a sold out screening, and just thinking like, you know, this is incredible, and I can't believe it's as good as it is, and it's like as intense as it is, and that the intensity is carried throughout the entire runtime. Like it just doesn't stop, right?
Yeah.
And then I watched it again like 4 years ago or so. And, you know, when I was doing the other Mad Max movies, and like, you know, it's great. Really, really fun movie to watch it, revisit, right? And then this time, because I figured I had seen it twice before, I'd try something different. I watched the black and chrome version.
Okay.
You ever hear about that?
I have, yeah.
It's the definitive way to watch it. So I would actually say because neither of you have seen it that way, then you haven't really seen Mad Max Furiosa.
Yeah.
You actually haven't really seen it until you've seen the black and chrome. And don't say black and white.
No.
It's not what it is.
It's not white. It's more of a shiny metallic tone.
Right.
Yes. So until you've seen... I actually think we should stop the show.
Just watch it.
Yeah, because okay, let's... Alex, just press stop on it.
All right.
And we'll watch it. Okay. All right, what did you think about the black and chrome version?
It was so shiny.
Yeah, crazy, right?
It was
Alex?
beautiful.
Beautiful. Do you think it's... Would you agree with George Miller that it's the definitive presentation of the film?
He said that?
He did say that, but I want to make it clear that he said that when they were trying to sell people on going to go watch it. Because not only was it just like a DVD feature or like whatever, they actually did re-release it to theaters in black and chrome. I'm
gonna lift the curtain a bit, reveal the hoodwink.
Oh.
We didn't actually just pause the episode and watch it.
Oh.
Only because the idea of watching that entire movie in like black and chrome, like I need to know, like, what was it okay?
Well, let me tell you, I'm glad you asked. I was skeptical too, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I thought about it like last night. I was like, I'm gonna do that. Like, why not? Just out of curiosity. And I haven't really ever watched any of these because, like black and white versions of the color movies. That is kind of maybe not a trend or whatever, but like Parasite got a official release with that.
Did it?
Yeah.
Didn't the Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Zack Snyder's Justice League is in black and white, yeah. or at least parts of it, or is it all in black and white? I don't remember.
Know.
I was pretty high. I remember the first time I heard of someone doing that, it was I think it was Park Chan-wook's Lady Vengeance, where there's a version that isn't all in black and white, but it's a fade. It's called like fade to white version, where the color slowly gets drained throughout the movie until at the very end it's fully in black and white.
That's cool.
But I was curious, and it actually looks really good.
Really?
Yeah, it does. I would not recommend somebody watch it unless they are just curious about it. Like, don't watch it the first time if it's your first time watching it, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think as an exercise to like understanding some of the visuals of the film, I think it actually is worthy of like at least a watch. So similar to how like Steven Soderbergh will do those like re-edits on his website, where he's like, I re-edited like Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I took out all the sound and I put a simple kind of spare electronic soundtrack, and I put it in black and white. So you will now, without the soundtrack and with telling you how to feel or where to look or whatever, and without the colors kind of drawing your attention here or there, you can now look at the blocking, and you can look at the performance, and you can look at maybe the edits will be easier to see. I don't know what I'm saying, but I sort of approach it like that, and like some scenes don't work in black and white, like the in the night desert where it's like the whole blue like filter, like it doesn't look very good.
Well, I was reading something about that where originally it was supposed to be in black and white, but because they couldn't actually get like the depth of the shadows and like the feeling of it, that's why they went with the blue instead.
Okay, well that makes a lot of sense, because I it did feel a little. That's the only time where it really felt like, oh, they just kind of threw the black and white filter over top, because the rest of it like is there's
probably like enough contrast to actually like have that depth.
Oh yeah, exactly. And like it, particularly the first chunk where there's like a lot of war boys in it.
Harkonnens, you mean?
Yeah.
A lot of Fade Routhas, baby.
A lot of Fade Routha. They really pop in the black and chrome version, you know?
I could see that, yeah.
So I don't know. It was honestly pretty cool. Like, I was impressed. And I'm here to declare it's not just a gimmick. It is like worth your while, you know.
That's good to hear. And you know, at this point, I have seen this movie a few times. To me, it's just it's a very digestible film. Like, it goes down super easy, probably easier than any of the Mad Maxes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen it a few times, so this exercise would be kind of interesting to watch it in black and chrome. But I do have that natural apprehension and hesitancy because the colors are like really beautiful in this movie. And I know like a lot of action movies, like on the posters or whatever, use like oranges and blues kind of thing. But in this movie, I don't know. I think it's just like color graded like really well, and it doesn't necessarily look like those big cliche action movie posters. Like it has a very distinct look that's a lot more stylized than the original trilogy. But yeah, the colors they pop, you know, like the scenes where they're shooting the flares and you have the like red puffs in the sky, like.
Oh, interesting. See, they were just kind of black and white for me.
Yeah. Or chrome.
Chrome, sorry.
Yeah. But I guess, yeah, if you've already seen it in glorious color, then maybe like black and chrome is an interesting exercise to maybe like study the blocking a bit. Because what I was thinking to myself when I rewatched it, I was like, it's totally crazy how coherent like a lot of the chases and action sequences are, you know, like I was never really like lost, like I don't know what's happening, like who's chasing who, what's exploding right now.
But that's because the center focus is always in the middle. Everything that's happening in the film is always dead center, so your eyes don't have to look back and forth.
Interesting.
That's why it's like really, like, I think that's like why it was edited like that, because every single scene is so quick that if you had it like, you know, going back and forth, your mind wouldn't be able to keep up with the story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there's the one other thing too, building off of that, is that a lot of the there's inconsistent like frame rates as well, right? So some of it is at 24, some of it like basically he'd go through. And it's his wife who edited it, right?
Yeah.
I think, Margaret Sixel.
She won the best, or the editing
award.
Award
Cleaned
thing.
up and all the all the technical Oscars. You know? Yeah. That was such a great Oscars to watch too, because it was like, oh, they're gonna pick. Oh, what was the thing that won again? I don't remember. Some whatever. It was like, oh, they're gonna give it to that, and then all the like technical awards. And all these weird Australians going up to be like, oh, thanks. Thanks, mate. Yeah. But
and the award goes to Bruno Dundridge for Mad Max.
Okay, here's a quote. Let's see here. Something like 50 or 60% of the film is not running at 24 frames a second. It'll be running below 24 frames because George, if he couldn't understand what was happening in the shot, he slowed it down until you could. Or if it was too well understood, he'd shorten it or he'd speed it up back towards 24. His manipulation of every shot in that movie is intense. Let me see. Yeah. So, and that's one of the other things, that when he was talking about doing a black and white version, I don't know if where this version is, but they did. I'm pretty sure they did like an isolated score version as well, where it's silent except for the music. And we talked about in the other Mad Max episodes how George Miller is like trying to approach these as like silent films, and maybe all of his films in a way that like visual language is first. And yeah, sometimes I was watching this movie today and I was just like, it's a miracle that any of this like is coherent, because there's so much going on, but it doesn't feel like the typical like fast cut action movies where you're like the Paul Greengrass stuff where you're like, I have no idea what's happening.
Or Michael Bay stuff.
Yeah, right. The Bayham.
Yeah, the Bayham.
Yeah.
No, it's like always very coherent. And what I found interesting, I really noticed it during that final car chase, because the whole thing's one big car chase, but the car chase itself is broken up into segments, and there's a car chase back. Like they go out and they come back. We'll talk about the plot in a bit. Yeah. But there's almost like story beats to these action sequences. Like within the action sequences, like there's the moment where like, you know, it shifts from positive to negative like beats where like, oh, something good happens for the good guys, but then like, oh, things get like really bad. And there's even a moment in that last car chase where there's like that kind of the low point of the film for then the characters to kind of like within the action sequence flip the situation and come back out on top again. Like I was just like, these are structured just so amazingly, you know, like I'd love to read the script to know how in depth and plotted out like those just these moments within the set pieces were. but I'll never know because I can't read.
I believe because this was such a long gestating project, right? That like, I believe at one point he did go and just make the whole thing with storyboards.
Yeah, it's all storyboarded, so it looks like a giant comic essentially. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's thousands and thousands of storyboards, so that you can have the whole right. Because otherwise, because I know there was it the first one or was it the second one or both maybe where they didn't do that, right? And they were just kind of like trying to kind of do it as they went.
Yeah.
Right? But with this, like, it's so precise. The timing is so specific that like you would really need storyboards in order for it not to be a complete disaster, you know.
You know, he co-wrote it with the guy who plays like the grease monkey mechanic in the first one.
Oh yeah. Really?
Yeah, the guy who's like, "Is that you, Baba Zanetti?" Like apparently, like they were still in each other's lives. Then I guess at some point George Miller was like, "You want to help me write the new Mad Max?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that."
You want to help me write the new Mad Max?
Sure, yeah, he's like floating in like a inner tube in like a pond, like in The Simpsons.
Yeah. I'm taking this all the way to the Prime Minister. Hey, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. George Miller.
But yeah, that guy helped write this and Furiosa.
Yeah, and of course Hugh Keys Burns.
Yeah.
Toe cutter in the first one is Immortan Joe.
Yeah.
And a great performance, which is like 90%. Well, like, or maybe 90% eyes.
Yeah.
And 10% like body, big boy body.
Booming voice too. Like,
yeah, that's right. I forgot he does have some good lines too. Yeah. And and it's not. I was trying to remember if he's just like standing in there, but no, it's definitely his voice too, because he sounds like Toe Cutter.
Yeah. The night remember him.
Yeah.
Let's describe the plot a bit. So Mad Max, he's played by Tom Hardy in this one. Yes.
One of the changes along the 10, 20 years was that Mel Gibson. Well, there are like two or three big things. Like one of them, like he had the idea like shortly after Beyond Thunderdome, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that happened was 9/11. Yep. Yeah, they're like, you were getting ready to go, but then like 9/11, for a number of reasons. I think mostly financial, but also maybe some safety concerns or whatever. They had to scrap it. And then when they came back to it, Mel Gibson was embroiled in his, unpleasantness. Mm-hmm. So he decided to make it without him, which is good.
Yeah.
Also, he's too old. He'd be too old.
Yeah.
Totally. I wonder what this movie would have looked like if they made it in the 2000s. Be interesting.
I don't know. Yeah.
I wonder if it would be as saturated, because I think that's like one of the things that I really love about this movie and pulls me in is like most like post-apocalyptic movies are very like kind of gray and like spooky whatever, but this is like color in your face.
Yeah.
And, like feels so like warm.
Yeah, I like that a lot too.
Yeah, if it had been done in the 2000s, it might have been that kind of like, speaking of Michael Bay, that kind of like Platinum Dunes sort of like wash or whatever.
Yeah.
Where it would be really desaturated and not as garish maybe. Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, Tom Hardy opens up the movie with his own narration where Tom Hardy's voice, this is one of the things. He has like an Australian accent at the beginning. Sort of. It's pretty faint, but he does.
Yeah.
But then later on in the movie, he's just like, but I mean like most of his lines are just like one word grunt responses.
Yeah.
But
very little dialogue again in the film. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he kind of like loses whatever accent he had, and he just kind of starts talking like this.
That's kind of his thing, is he just has a weird voice,
Mm-hmm.
Like when he's Venom, he's like, I'm Eddie Brock and this is Venom, and then when he's Venom, he's like, I'm Venom. Like, Venom.
He also, this was at a time where he was like really loving obscuring his face, because he was Bane. And then in Dunkirk, he was a pilot and he had a thing on his face. And then he has like a muzzle on his face for half the movie. Yeah. Like, it makes me wonder if he's self-conscious.
The Revenant, he's gets the shit kicked out of him a lot. He's got a big beard.
Speaking of The Revenant, that was like one of the big movies at that same Academy Awards.
Oh, of course. That's,
that it won out a lot. Also, Force Awakens was nominated for a bunch of technical stuff too, and Mad Max kicked its ass as well.
Yeah, good.
Anyway, but we have Max. almost instantly he is captured by the war boys, the Harkonnens, and taken to the Citadel. And so this is like a PG-13 movie.
It's not.
No, it's not.
It's R?
We keep saying that. It's not. I had to double check it today. Yeah. It's R rated.
It was R?
Yeah. It's just not a particularly gory movie.
No way.
But they tested a PG-13 version because he was in the contract. It was supposed to be PG-13. They tested it, and then they tested Miller's version, and everyone liked Miller's version better. So it's R, but it's a pretty light, I think, R.
Okay, fair enough.
You have to remember, too, listeners, we're in Canada, right? So
we have
adults.
weird rating
so
systems too.
It doesn't. Whether or not something's R rated doesn't really pick up. Like every now and again, you'll be watching something and you're like, oh, okay, that level of violence obviously is not acceptable in PG-13. Or there's like they say fuck more than once, or there's like a like a tit or an ass or a dong. Obviously, if there's a dong.
The milkmaids probably put it over for us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I forgot the milkmaids. Yeah, I mean, okay.
We'll get there.
Yeah. There's a lot of levels of oppression and exploitation in this world.
Yeah.
But to be a milkmaid, it's mostly just sitting around. It's not so bad. So said from a real point of privilege.
But that is what I was gonna say. Was like, this isn't as like bleak. I don't think any of them are as bleak.
I don't know, though.
No, but there is like weird, uncomfy levels of like human exploitation in this one. Like that still have a bit of that edge. Like I don't think it's as like hard as the Road Warrior, but like it does have like human blood bags or like human milkmaids.
I think I know what you mean. I think it's like not maybe as gritty as the Road Warrior, but because there's more there's a more in-depth idea, even if it's just a glimpse of something that is like left unexplained, of like a really twisted, like kind of rotten society that is pretty like terrifying. Like your options are basically, you're either like a road warrior, right, like running for your life all the time, surviving in the desert, or you're like a peasant who like is like doesn't get enough water and is just like waiting for Immortan Joe to turn the taps on.
Yeah.
Or you're part of like Immortan Joe's like whatever
irradiated
castle.
dying.
Yeah.
Like,
So you're either a sex slave or a milk slave or
water
or
slave,
one of his deformed children, or you're like a fanatical like war boy guy, which also doesn't seem like a nice position to be in, right?
No, they're
like
all
better than the peasants because you get to drink more often and you get fresh blood
and chrome paint. But they're all like dying from like radiation sickness. Like they call them like half-life war boys.
They have like
and
cancer
stuff.
and stuff. Apparently,
right? They all have lumps.
It's
It is bleak. Like but and I'm saying I appreciate that there are still these kind of like hard, like rough elements. Especially coming from Thunderdome, which had a bit of that with the whole like pig killer and whatnot. But go this one. I like it.
Yeah.
My brain's not working right now.
It's okay.
I'm very hungover.
We'll hook you up to the blood boy.
I need a blood bag of my own. So he gets captured.
Ravioli run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Rav, man. What happens next?
He gets captured and they start to tattoo his back.
Yes.
Yeah. With all his blood information.
Yep.
Which is a fun detail. And then almost instantly, like, the movie kind of takes off with Charlize Theron. And she's introduced as Imperator Furiosa, Imperator.
Yeah.
Which I guess is a title that I don't know what it means.
Yeah, she's the Imperator. Yeah.
Yes.
What do you mean you don't know what it means?
What's an Imperator?
She's the Imperator, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He's the Immortan. The Immortan is also a title.
Yeah.
Do you not, I don't know. So wait, you work together, right?
No.
Oh, you're just you're friends from real life.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I was gonna say, but so what do you do, Chantel, for a job?
I write.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm on like the content design side of things, like in tech.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're both like writers for different companies and so on. So in your company hierarchy, are there not Immortans and Imperators?
Yeah. Chief Immortan Officer.
Yeah, because at the hotel, like there's a number of Imperators.
Yeah.
Who are making sure we're all getting our daily transfusions. And they drive the war rigs, and then there's an Immortan at the top who is rules with an iron fist. Yeah.
Listen, I like these titles a lot. I love the character names in these things, and George Miller does too, because he always puts them in the credits. He wants you to know it's Max Rockatansky and Imperator Furiosa.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so cool.
But anyway, she gets sent out to get bullets from the bullet farm and gasoline from Gastown.
Yeah, it's funny hearing Charlize say gasoline.
Oh, yeah.
She does not do an Australian accent.
No.
The only word she puts, the only word that sounds Australian is when she says gasoline.
Well, it's like in this world, that slang of calling it gasoline
is
just
no
become
slang.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Just,
it's become the word.
What the word is.
Yeah.
So they like ritualize sending out this war rig, and I do like a lot of how he's evolved some of the mythos around this world and stuff. Like this society, they worship cars. All the movies have been so vehicle focused, and now the war boys and their crew literally worship a V8 engine and like pick up steering wheels from like a pile and stuff like that. Like I really like that world building aspect of it.
Oh yeah, like I think the thing that sets this one apart for me a little bit is just how expansive the kind of because the production design, especially of like from Road Warrior on, right, has flowed so well into into the like the story and the characters and whatever, that it's not like they go through and they have to explain every little character costume and detail, like well he wears this because this affects this, or like he uses this weapon because of whatever. It's just like they'll just show it to you and you'll understand it immediately, like visually, without really having to think about it. And you just kind of move on, right? And this one just expands things so much. Like I love the idea of like because Bartertown is Beyond Thunderdome is pretty simplistic, right? You understand the hierarchy there. You understand why the people are on top, who are on top, and why everyone else is shoveling pig shit, right? But in this one, it's like how, like, what happened. And you don't need any answers to this, right? But like you just see, okay, they're putting on Immortan Joe. They have the little boy blowing the dust on his like oozing wounds, and they put on his little plastic like thing, and he's got all the medals, and you're like, what are those from? Like, how does one get to the level of Immortan? And then the war boys and all their rituals, and they're spraying the chrome in their mouths, and Witness Me, and like all of these like very obviously deeply entrenched rituals that have seemingly existed for like hundreds of years. The concept of Valhalla and like all this stuff. It's like how do we get here? And why does everyone seem to like understand this without questioning it? And it's just so like perfect, especially in this movie. It's so like exciting to just see a flash of something and you're like, what the hell is that? And but not to take you out of the movie like, oh, I don't understand. You understand immediately on like some sort of gut level, and that's like brilliant. Like it's a wonder that it all like works and fits together. And I'm not even talking about like the action scenes. I just mean like
the lore.
Yeah, the lore. Yeah.
I wonder if we'll get a bit of background on the lore in
probably.
Furiosa.
Yeah. I think that's the whole. Isn't that like
that's the thing.
The point of it?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because like with obviously Furiosa, but then like how Immortan Joe became Immortan Joe. Like I was doing some reading.
He's just Joe in the new movie.
Yeah.
He's yet to attain the title of Immortan.
Yeah.
It's actually similar to how this Mad Max movie is actually much more about Furiosa as a central character. The Furiosa movie is actually about how Joe became Immortan Joe, how he rose through the ranks of the tech and advertising companies that you work for to get to the title of Immortan. Yeah.
That would be a fun
how
twist.
I was answering phones at the hotel and soon became Immortan Hotel.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't really need to get too in depth on like, how he created this mythology. You know, I think it's cool, and it makes sense. At some point someone kind of co-opted the concept of Valhalla and like meshed it with this like gearhead car culture, ride the highways of Valhalla and stuff. It just makes sense. Like, yeah. It just kind of works. But yeah, Furiosa doesn't go to Gastown or the Bullet Farm, and instead veers off course because it turns out she's stolen or freed Immortan Joe's like 5 top breeders, which feels weird to say.
Yeah, it's a weird movie.
Yeah.
That's what I call them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I call them.
The band.
Yeah, it's Kim Deal.
Yeah, it steals the breeders. Yeah, and then they have that doof warrior, the guitar guy who's playing Cannonball the whole time. Yeah. Brilliant choice. I don't know why. The breeders must be big in Australia. Yeah.
They're bigger than the Pixies.
Yeah. It's a like a prison break, and she's going to drive them to the green place, the like place where she came from, which I'm sure we will see in Furiosa, like a land, desert oasis, I guess.
Yeah. Must be like something out of Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Like the place where the kids are.
Yeah.
I like that they don't really get into, why she's freed them and stuff. Like there's just like a quick line.
I think you understand why.
Yeah,
sex slaves.
No, exactly.
Very fucked up.
And they have the like when he goes in and they've written on the walls like our humans
children
are not your property and other stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the old woman's like they were practically begging to go or something.
Yeah.
You don't need to like know all the mechanics of how when they started talking to Furiosa and hatch this plan. It's just set in motion and there we go.
Yeah, exactly.
And that sets off like the crux of the big chase, which is Immortan Joe and his war boys chasing after Furiosa, and Max gets strapped on to Nicholas Holt, old friend of the pod, Nicholas Holt.
Yeah. Hey, are you the boy from About a Boy?
It's me. Yeah. And that's how kind of Max gets into the fray. And this is like, Furiosa is definitely a big part of this movie and stuff. But all Mad Max movies kind of are about Max stumbling into something, with like other major characters and figures around him. Like, I think some people were kind of like annoyed that it was like not as focused on Mad Max, and I was like, but that's Mad Max's thing. Like he's a wanderer and a drifter, and he kind of just stumbles into the action.
All the same people who get annoyed about everything they're like Mad Max has gone woke,
Yeah.
Mad Max is feminist now. No. They all sound like Master and Master Blaster.
Mad Max woke. Who run Mad Max?
Mad Max for the boys. That's a good Master, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good Master.
I should work on that. It's a good impression, yeah.
New Halloween costume incoming.
Yeah, great.
Love it.
Yeah, I don't remember if that was part of the discourse at the time. If there were people being like, "Oh, this movie is like feminist," like boo, because I don't think the fans of the Mad Max movies are really like that in the way that the Star Wars freaks were really upset. They're like, "What do you mean there's a girl Jedi?
She's a Mary Sue.
She's a Mary Sue." Yeah, and all that other junk. Like, oh my God. I don't think that this movie really had much of that.
No,
I can't really remember if it did. Yeah.
I'm sure it did to some extent, but not.
There's holes of the internet where people complain about everything. So
yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think everyone was just kind of stoked that it was a good movie, and everyone was excited, and people who were familiar with Mad Max were just happy that it was good. And then like later on, people were like, "Well, wait a second, like Mad Max, he's kind of a secondary character," and it's like, well, yeah, he's a wanderer,
Yeah.
He's transient.
And he still makes the decision that he makes in all these movies to help the less fortunate when he can, because as we see in the kind of repeated flashbacks, there's some history with him, like some his sister, his daughter, or whoever was killed, and he wasn't able to save her. So at any point where he's like, I'm not going to save you, I'm going to go my own way, he'll have the flash of the little girl and be like, I guess I should kind of fulfill my destiny.
Yeah, that made me wonder about the continuity of these movies, which you've already established isn't super important by the like reoccurring Bruce Spence and stuff like that.
Important.
It's not super important, but like I was wondering like if maybe this is in the same timeline, and you know, like maybe between Thunderdome and this, he's still been getting into misadventures, either helping people or failing to or something.
I don't know.
I kind of saw it as, and this is probably totally wrong, but I saw it as like his wife as a child, because like when his wife and his son, right?
Yeah.
Die?
Sprague.
Yeah. Like from the first movie, right? So I was like, maybe that's like his, I don't know. I was just,
I think it's just like what we've been saying. Like it's like a folklore tale, like told time and again, you know? So like each different version is like changed slightly to fit into the time it's told, I guess. You know?
Yeah. I think to a fault, I like to put meaning on things. That's probably,
he had post-apocalyptic facial surgery to appear less like Mel Gibson because the people in Bartertown were after him.
Yeah, he had to change his face.
Yeah.
So Tina Turner wouldn't recognize him. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's tempting to do stuff like that. But I mean, with this movie, like, it doesn't matter. It's all, you can do whatever you want with it, right?
Yeah, that is part of the reason I have a bit of like reservation around Furiosa, because it is going to be so directly tied to this movie, and the characters are going to carry over. And with the exception of Max, that's never happened before in this series. You know, it's kind of weird that they are in dialogue with each other in that way.
We'll see. Yeah. I'm optimistic. I would not even cautiously, which is what I usually say when any movie comes out. I'm looking forward to it.
You're just full blown optimistic.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good.
I think it's going to be good too.
I do too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
we'll find out in a week.
Yeah. What are some of your guys' favorite set pieces?
Oh, there's like a really fun one where it's the whirlycopter. What is it called from the third one? What's the guy's name who drives the? Oh my God, I'm not coherent right now.
The pilot, or
the pilot. His helmet is on one of the cars.
No way.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I can't remember which car, but I was
Oh, okay,
I was like,
cool.
oh yeah, look.
Well, that is a fun little
it's like a little
Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. Let me think here. Well, there's so it's hard to even delineate like different chunks, because it just flows together so well, and it's all one chase. Like they go all the way to the green, all the way to Greenland, realize that it doesn't exist anymore, and then all the way back, right? I'm trying to think which parts really stand out. Like the first chase up into the storm. So actually, something that worked really well in the Black and Chrome version was the storm a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah, just because it was like kind of, instead of like, because it's all visually messy or whatever, but it was in black and white. It's really just light and dark, and so you see the light and the dark, and you see, you can actually kind of make things out a little bit easier. You know?
Interesting.
There's a couple of shots, I think particularly that always like kind of, or even like sequences that always blow my mind. And there's one shot in the beginning chase where the guy, that's definitely like there's a lot of CG in this movie as well. Like a lot of talk was about, we did like 90% practical, like whatever, and they did. They drove a lot of cars, they blew up a lot of cars, like whatever, right? But obviously there's like thousands and thousands of CG shots and so on in the movie, right? But there's one shot where the guy, it's like some like nameless war boy or whatever, like the car crashes or goes under the wheels, and it flings his body forward, and it goes, and his face goes like into the camera before he like tumbles. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's insane, and it's just the speaking of Bayham, you know, like the most recent Monsieur Bay movie, Ambulance, has those shots with the drones, right? That are insane. And there's a drone shot that reminded me of that I was reminded of watching this movie, where the drone is going through a car crash. It's like two cars crash and the drone like flies through it, and it's like I've obviously CG assisted in some way, but what I think happened is he just crashed a drone. And because it gets so close to the crash, and it's like, well, he just crashed a drone, right?
Yeah.
And there's a couple shots like that where it's like you're not just crashing cars anymore with this movie. You're like inside the crash itself. You're like flying through the twisted metal, you know. And then in the end, or near the end, there's the scene with all the poles, right? The guys,
so
like Cirque du Soleil guys, and I think like literally they're Cirque du Soleil guys on the poles. And when they blow up the one kind of oil tanker, and it's this huge, probably the biggest explosion in the movie, right? And you see it as it's going boom, 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 like blowing up by sections. And then Max is on the pole, and it goes all the way up. And then we cut to a higher angle shot of the explosion, and Max flies through on the pole like a little pendulum, right? And it's like stunning. Yeah. Oh God, it's such a good movie. I honestly, I think this might be the best one. You know what I mean? Like I always say, "Oh, Road Warrior's better," but it's like this movie is incredible.
I think visually, this movie is so incredible, and that like kind of gives it its like extra advantage.
It's just like it's incomprehensible how comprehensible it is. You know what I mean? It should not be this easy and this pleasurable and this rewarding to like watch something that's so like kinetic. I know I say that word a lot, especially lately for these movies, but like, I mean, literally, like I wanted to stand up and like jog in place while I was watching this movie. I was like, I have to get moving. You know what I mean? I got to get the blood flowing. You know?
Yeah. It is one long car chase, and the fact that it's engaging throughout and works and is like comprehensible is a feat in and of itself.
Yeah.
There's I think because of its structure, to me there's no kind of just weird little moment like of the kind of human interaction between these people, like Lord Humongus's proposal to Papagallo and his followers, or some of the stuff where like Max is learning about Bartertown and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it really just picks up and keeps going. But then that's also why I like the Mad Max movies, is that like each one is kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
And it's cool that this one is the extremely extended chase sequence movie.
Yeah, and I think that idea was always there from like even like 2 or 3 years after Beyond Thunderdome, where he had that idea of that like the next Mad Max is going to be a constant chase, and it took him however long, you know, decades to realize it. And that's one thing I hope is true of Furiosa, is that it's like its own thing, and I think it will be. It
seems like it is from the trailers.
Like it's not just going to be one extended chase necessarily, right?
I think there's going to be a lot more dialogue.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. And
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to that, because Chris Hemsworth, like, you know, I don't care too much about him as an actor, but I do like seeing like big Hollywood actors, especially people who are like big for those superhero movies, like stretch and do something a little different, right? And he's got a fake nose, and like, come on, he's doing his Australian accent.
Yeah,
it'll be good.
You never said your favorite.
I do think that final chase sequence when they are with the many mothers.
The what do they call them again? They're not the Volvari, are they? It's something. They have something like funny that. Vulva related. It's like, I remember hearing it in the theater. I think I was with Yuki, and I was like, did they say Volvari? Yeah.
The names are just so fun in this movie. When they meet up with them, and Furiosa's like, the person who initiated me was Katie Concannon. Like, I am the daughter of Mary Jo Bassa. Like, it's just
it's great.
It's just fun. But when they
When she screams in the desert too, you know?
Powerful stuff, yeah.
That's a good Charlize moment.
Yeah, like as much as I love, you know, ATJ, she has some big shoes to fill.
ATJ, yeah. A space T dash J.
ATJ.
Yeah.
Alt J.
Alt J.
Yeah. As much as Alex
Tessellate.
likes Alt J, yeah. Man, remember that? Remember Alt J?
I do.
That's like,
oh yeah,
that's like 30 years ago.
Breeze blocks.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, boom blocks.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought of one more really cool scene.
Yes, go for it.
So that little callback with the eyes.
Yes.
Like, I just love that. That's
the
so
bulging.
Cool.
Yeah. Isn't it? Is it Max's bulging?
Yes.
Eye? Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
In this one, it's Max.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he doesn't die. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I wonder because it looks like they might have just taken the footage from the original movie.
It looks like old, but I love. That's why I like it.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
That's another weird thing that stuck out to me on this watch was at the beginning during Max's narration, they only have like one archival footage like clip to go along with him talking about the apocalypse, and it's just kind of like the trees blowing like after an explosion.
Oh.
And I was like, weird that they only chose to include one, and you know.
Yeah, we get it though, right? I mean, by this point, it's like you get it.
No, you get it, but I was just like, but why include any at all? I don't know. But anyway,
I don't even remember the trees. Yeah,
it's
in the black and chrome version,
the way it was meant to be seen. I've just seen it so many times now, and it is just so digestible that just random stuff kind of sticks out. Right. But it's not neither good nor bad. It's just kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
Never really thought about that choice before because the whole thing rips so quickly that you don't have much time to.
It's just the pacing is so controlled. You know, when you're thinking about how like the level to which a lot of the effects are practically done, like it makes it even more impressive, right? Because when you're just creating everything in post, you can do that pacing and that timing and that whatever, right? And I think this is where it comes to him cranking or over cranking or under cranking some of the scenes, which is like I guess a outdated term because you're not cranking the camera anymore. But you know what I mean, like under. I don't know the word for it. Digitally manipulating or whatever the frames, like,
yes,
so that you're in such like tight control of it. Like even that opening, right, where it's like, okay, there's the gecko on the thing, and it runs off, and he squishes it. He gets in his car and he goes, and that whatever, however many seconds it is between when he drives off and the silence, right, and then the roar of the people chasing him, like it's just perfect. Like every single scene is so expertly like paced out. Yeah, and I mean, I know most movies are like this, like. That's what editing is. It's not necessarily about what gets in and what gets out as much as it is about pacing and controlling the tone and of a performance or of a scene or whatever it is. And I think a lot of the times when it's done really well, you don't notice it. Right? Is the idea, as opposed to something like Bohemian Rhapsody. That's
bringing up a lot.
Share all the time. Yeah, I know. Our favorite film, but. I think when it comes to like action filmmaking, of course you're going to notice it, right? Especially with a film like this. I'm just in awe of like how it's put together. It just doesn't make any sense almost. Like it's like alchemical.
It does feel that way. And when it's paired with like what I spoke about in the last episode about how George Miller just seems to have an endless imagination for coming up with like crazy post-apocalyptic characters, like this is such a zonkers cast of weird like wasteland folk, like the bullet farmer, like the old guy kind of wearing chainmail made of bullets, and like the people eater with like his giant gout leg. It's just such creativity on display. I really admire it. It's just like it's just such an extrapolation of what's been coming before, with like the insanity. It just keeps like ramping up and up with like the amount of people, like all these like just everyone in this is like even weird, is just weird, like even the breeder is the breeders are like just kind of weird because they're so like angelic and soft, but there's like the snarky
the women,
one.
Alex.
Yeah, well, specifically those ones.
5 wives or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You call them breeders. Played by models and
Riley
babies.
Keough and Zoe Kravitz.
Yep.
And Abby Lee, who in The Neon Demon eats the eye at the end of it. That's her, yeah.
That's her, yeah.
Not Abby Lee Miller.
No. I don't know who
From
that
Dance
is.
Moms. It's okay. Don't worry. Another TLC.
Yeah. It's good to learn, you know.
Yeah.
It's if only there was a channel where I could learn something, you know.
And we've been talking about how there seems to be this theme of like becoming legend in these movies and becoming like
Witness
a myth.
Me, remember me.
This one, is just like really hard on that with all that stuff. It's just, it's cool to see. It's been a fun franchise to watch.
Yeah. I love that the, the themes of the movie I think are relatively simple. Like the theme of all these movies to some degree or another is just like survival. And, but I don't. I don't think I don't want to make too much of a point of the movie's feminism necessarily, because I think, to some degree it's like very simple, right? Like women are not property, and and in general, people should not be property in the post-apocalypse or pre-apocalypse. Mm-hmm. There, I said it. I'm taking a bold stance.
You're very brave.
But I do think it's really cool that Furiosa, kind of ends up being the protagonist of the film, or whatever you want to call it, the kind of central character or the most interesting character, and that Max's function is can be kind of incidental sometimes, right?
Totally. Well, there's that whole scene in the nighttime in the blue swampy place where the bullet farmer is after them, and he's been blinded, so he's just shooting wildly. And Max is like, "I'll be back," and then he comes back and he's killed the bullet farmer, and you don't see the scene. It just takes place off camera, and he just shows back up and washes the bullet farmer's blood off of him with mother's milk.
Yeah. You sound crazy when you're talking. You know what I mean? It's great. Yeah. And then when they're Jim Henson Muppet stilt walker guys. Yeah. Who are in the formerly green place.
Yeah.
So I read about some lore of those guys.
Please.
Because I do little deep dives. Apparently they were from the green place originally, but they got exiled because they were men. Oh. And they were used kind of like the breeders to be milked and then brought back to continue the legacy, if you want, of the biker gang.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was gonna be happy just kind of saying, okay, the film is feminist, but now I have to, I have to say what I really feel, which is that it's also misandrist, and I think George Miller is guilty of misandry. I can't even say it. It's such a stupid word. But and when I see the old lady Vulvarians, did we find out if that's true? I think so. Let's just say it is. And now I'm learning this fun fact that they used to have milk maidens milking the seed of hard-working men. Makes me sick.
Maybe they were just milking them, though. Like nipples.
Oh, yeah.
You can milk anything with nipples.
That's right.
I have nipples, Greg.
I have nipples, Greg. Oh, we can't wait to do those movies.
Dustin Hoffman, your favorite.
I know he's in one of them. 2 of them, maybe. Anyway, cancel George Miller for hating
He's
men.
done.
I guess we can't go see Furiosa. That's the end of the franchise.
Yeah, it's a man-hating. It's woke and it's man-hating.
Mm-hmm.
Men are only good for breeding? Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, it's the Vuvellini.
Vuvellini.
What?
That's even better.
That is better. Vuvellini.
Vuvellini. Sounds like an Italian man.
It does.
Hey, I'm a Vuvellini. Oh no.
Vulvarian sounds too much like Vulgarian. And also it has vulva in it. Vulvolini is both suggestive but subtle.
It could be something else.
Yeah, they could just be Italian. Yeah.
The Vulvolini.
Yeah. Okay, obviously I am joking. It is not a... George Miller is not a misandrist. I take it back. The movie is feminist, and that's good. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any kind of final thoughts, or should we get into the reviews?
Yeah, Chantel, I don't know. What do you think?
I said when we began that I really love this film, and that's true. So, what are we gonna rate it out of though today?
Let's do lumps on a war boy's back. Let's do
cancerous lumps on a war boy's back.
Radiation poisoning lumps, like out of 5.
Does less mean it's better then? Because you don't really want a lump.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, let's complicate it. Okay. Yeah.
All right, so 0 lumps.
Okay, wow. Yeah, that's a healthy war boy.
I think this is a perfect 0 lumps, 0 cancerous lumps movie.
Yeah.
I think if you watch this, it will not give you cancer. If you watch the black and chrome version, it will give you a little bit of cancer.
You might choke to death on your own fluids.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it just like the tiniest half lump on Nicholas Holt's back, and he's drawn a face on it.
Oh, what a day. What a lovely day.
Yeah. And I'm curious to see Furiosa, and I'll reserve like opinions on all of them for the big rank off.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the tiniest of half lumps, like and I don't even really know why. It just doesn't quite feel perfect to me.
All right.
But I couldn't tell you why.
Perhaps that imperfection is not in the film, but within your soul.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before, and you're probably right.
But the
problem is with me.
Anytime you have an opinion on something that I disagree with, it's because you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good way of like approaching art and like having discourse with people.
Yeah.
My way or the highway. Get on the highway.
Straight to Valhalla.
Straight to Valhalla, yeah.
I think you might have said that earlier this episode about Maniac.
You're right. I think I did. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I just, for listeners, I don't actually think that. I think having different opinions is good.
Yeah. But I just something ephemeral that I'm like, I still think I prefer the Road Warrior. Yeah. But I'll save that for another time.
Okay.
Okay.
What about you, Chantel?
So currently, this is my favorite out of the whole franchise. So I too will have to go with a naked back.
Yep.
So yeah, until
cancer free.
But it might change when we see Furiosa. I'm not sure. But yeah, for right now, 0 lumps.
Yeah.
Respect.
We will see. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I will also wait to compare all of them till later. I was glad you were coming on today because
feminist.
Yeah,
it's true.
Feminism.
Yeah, because of feminism. Yeah, if it were just some guy, and we obviously we would have landed on the movie being hating men.
Yeah.
Hating some of the great men. Immortan Joe, the bullet farmer,
the people eater, Rictus Erectus,
yeah,
which is a funny name.
Born
Nux.
Slippy, Nux.
Oh, actually, the Rictus Erectus actually did remind me of something when I was looking on
reminds me of something too.
When I was on my totally legit site, the first thing that came up before this actually was the porn version of this.
No,
what's it called?
It is called. Wait, I took a screenshot of it just because I was like,
this is
I almost did because I was like half asleep and I was like, wait, this definitely is not the right movie. Mad Maxine, Frisky Road.
I like it.
Yeah.
Mad Maxine makes a lot of sense. Frisky Road. May I see the...
Oh, yeah, you may.
Who is that?
Oh, geez. It looks really cheap.
Oh, yeah.
No offense to the creators of Mad Max.
I'm sure it's great.
I made a joke before we started recording about Mad Max Furry Road, and they were all just furries. But Frisky works too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, what I was going to say is I'm glad he came on, not just for feminism and for gender parity, but because I didn't really know what to talk about. Because I'm like, what am I going to talk about Mad Max Fury Road? Like, oh, it's great. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? So thank you for coming on.
Cool, yeah.
And I mean, and not that we did all still agree it's an amazing movie.
Not a controversial episode.
But
No.
yeah. I know. I was trying to think, what's a hot take, but it's impossible. It's just an amazing movie.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be hot takes around Furiosa. Maybe.
I kind of
Could
hope,
be.
I kind of hope, but I have a feeling like it's just going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be just it was great.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool new movie. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, yeah. Come back soon. You know.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Please.
Come back
Yeah.
for the next one even.
Yeah.
Cool. That's what
We're
you
gonna
said.
try to
so
see it.
maybe,
Yeah.
I'd like to.
All right. Great.
Yeah. If you're playing along, I guess you're gonna have to go to the theater.
Yep, you're gonna have to spend money.
Mm-hmm.
You can't no cam rips or whatever of this. You
Nope.
gotta go spend money,
Mm-hmm.
which is what this podcast is all about.
And we'll see you next week to wrap up Mad Max and introduce the next franchise.
Yeah,
Which I can't even remember what it is.
we haven't decided. No, it's up
Nice.
in the air.
That's why.
Yeah? And when I say up in the air, I mean the films of Jason Reitman.
Right. Up in the air, Juno.
Juno, yeah.
The only two.
No, there's so many.
I know.
Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire.
Oh my God, yeah. Okay.
Ghostbusters, Afterlife. You can go ahead and stop it, but I'll name one more Jason Reitman movie. What's it called? Oh, Men, Women, and Children.